Hello and welcome. In this series, I'm going to be leveling a Protection Spect Warrior on the Elysium Fresh Start PvP Vanilla WoW server. And that is correct. You heard me right. A Protection Spect Warrior. And I want to address that first. I know a lot of people are going to tell me to go Two-Hand Fury and possibly even Arms, but the reason why I'm playing on this Vanilla server is because I want to experience Vanilla WoW as a prot warrior. And I like prot so much. I like tanking. I like blocking attacks. You know how those nerds get a crit and they just jizz all over themselves? The exact same thing happens when I get a block. Now think about what happens when I get a parry. That's what I enjoy. I enjoy being the tank. Even if I'm just doing quest and I'm just leveling, I want to be immersed in World of Warcraft, and that is not possible for me to do on retail. So I promised myself that I would only play Elysium how I wanted to play, and I want to play as a Protection Spect Warrior. So with that out of the way, I want to talk about where the series is going. I plan on leveling all the way up to about level 50, and at that point I'm going to start farming best in slot gear. The reason is because I figure any runs of these dungeons that I do at max level, I could have been getting XP for, so why not just run them when they're going to give me XP? And that's pretty much why. And because I'm leveling prot, I'm probably going to do dungeons more often because I like tanking, like I said. So, when I'm going to be able to do Razorfen Downs or Alderman, I might do a couple of runs of those instances because it's just, fun for me to tank. And you can't really scratch the itch of tanking when you're questing. So, without further ado, you should be seeing me quest in the Orc starting area. And that's what this first episode is going to be. It's not going to be too serious, but then probably about after the third or fourth episode, it's going to, I'm going to break off and start doing not really my own thing, but leveling just, I'm not looking at a guide. I'm not looking up what other people are doing. I'm just going through the game, doing quests I find, doing a dungeon from time to time, going to the zones. I'm not rushing around, I'm completing the barrens at whatever pace it takes me. Whenever I run out of quests I'm able to do at that level, I'll leave and hopefully I'll come back, finish the ones that used to be difficult, and that's what an RPG is. Really, it's not about just following the story to max level and then taunting it 3 stacks. But that's really what retail WoW has become. So that's why I'm going to be taking my time. But like I said, the end goal is to get max level and, really get best in slot pre-raid gear. And then I want to start raiding. I want to raid Molten Core until the next patch and so on and so forth. And I don't mind if it takes months and years for Zeth'Kur to come out and all this stuff. I just want to enjoy the game as it is, like a lot of people did during Vanilla, Burning Crusade, and even some of Wrath. But it feels like ever since Kata, people have lost the idea as to what an RPG actually is. Let's go ahead and get to the gameplay. So the starting area was pretty good. I think they had increased spawn rates to make it a little bit easier because they had to up the population cap. When actual vanilla was out, I believe it was somewhere around like 2,000 or so per server. Well, this one has about 10,000 people. And yeah, you can imagine it's pretty packed. It's kind of, in a way it's terrible, but then in the same way it's not that bad. It may be if, a little less people were on, it would be more enjoyable, but hey, I'd rather have too many than a dead server, let's be honest. And, I'm actually enjoying my time on Elysium so much right now. It has reinforced in my mind that the problem with retail WoW is Blizzard. It's not the player base. It's not even necessarily the game itself. It's how the game is being handled. And when you look at Vanilla WoW, it honestly has more features than retail, and that is depressing. But, you know, I'm not going to be talking too much more about retail. It's just, you know, I think a lot of people are coming from the point of view of they're not really enjoying retail WoW, and I want to let you guys know that it's not just you. It's not burnout. It's not any of these other things. It's, in all honesty, it's Blizzard. It's these game companies, because it's not just Blizzard that's making these theme park MMOs. And by playing Elysium, by playing vanilla World of Warcraft, by sharing my experience with you guys, I hope I can prove that to the world, in all honesty. Because, in my mind, there's an MMO out there that is going to be created that will be bigger than WoW was at its pinnacle. And the reason is because an RPG is not about raiding or PvP. In fact, I believe an RPG should be able to be played without ever entering combat. You know, you shouldn't have to go to war to play an RPG. You should be able to stay back in your starting city if that's what you want. But at the same time, you should be able to progress through the game. You know, you should be able to just be a part of the world and not really have expectations or anything like that. And that's what I feel when I play vanilla. You know, when you do even just doing Wailing Caverns in vanilla, when you do a full clear of that, it honestly feels epic. It feels like, wow, I'm so glad that these 4 other people stuck it out with me. You know, you wiped a few times, more than likely. You know, and more than likely it was one of the wipes could have been your tank's fault or your healer's fault, but in vanilla, in a real RPG, you don't nerd rage when someone messes up. You sometimes offer a suggestion. Say, hey, maybe you should pull that a little bit back, or hey, can we try some CC from now on? Or you work together in a social, provoking environment to down the boss. And if you do not work together, you're not going to progress. You're not going to be able to play an RPG. And that's really the point of this video. This is almost like an intro video to the series. And like I said before, in the future, it's not going to be so much about talking, but I really want to anchor you guys in why I'm doing this, you know? I'm doing it because I want to prove a point. I want to prove a point that there's a difference between online RPGs and what we now know as MMOs. In vanilla, World of Warcraft is an RPG that just happens to be online, that just happens to allow you to play with other players. And one of the quests that really offered problems was the peons. And what actually happened was I kind of got into the rotation because they have every few, like 2 or 3 minutes, the peon will just walk away and go to sleep. So once I kind of got into a good rotation, a good feel of, you know, when the guy was going to be walking, I was just running back and forth. I snatched up a couple of them, and then for my last peon, I stole it from this bro. I was just like, hey bud, hey, I'll take that, thanks. So that was pretty good. That was nice, and the reason is because he is an asshole. You know, I didn't realize he was an asshole until after I stole it, but yeah, I mean, everyone's trying to do this quest, bro, you know what I'm saying? You can't just sit, because what he was doing, he was AFKing at this tree, and then whenever the guy would respawn, he wouldn't even hit him on time. So I was like, fine, if you're going to snooze, then you're going to lose. And yeah, and then after that, I got the quest for the mining pick, which was way less terrible. And the thing about this is, a lot of people don't realize how hard some of these quests would be if there was not, like, hundreds and thousands of people on the server. Because anytime there's, like, a quest where I need to go into a cave or I have to go through the camp, 90% of the time, every mob in the camp is not only dead, but it's getting camped. So if you just have to go pick something up in a fortress, it's actually not that hard. And yeah, now I'm just going to be running back, turning in this quest, and that's pretty much going to wrap up my time here in the starting area. Hindsight, maybe I should have went ahead and grinded out that level 6, you know, just just to get level 6 before the end of the starting area. But I wasn't really too worried about it, and like I said, I just kind of want to let the game guide me as it will.